Hi everybody, my name is Louise and I work for AbSafe. I have the absolute delight of introducing to you one of my favourite people, and this is Zara Grant, who is an entrepreneur. So thanks for agreeing to do this, Zara. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions if that's okay. I wondered if you'd be able to tell the young people what you do.
Amazing. So thank you so much for having me, Louise. Really excited to be here. So I actually run 3 companies. I run Love Rara Limited, which is an entertainment company. I run Love Rara Kids, which is a coaching program for young individuals. And I also have just set up a not-for-profit organization called Your Love Rara. And this is based on children's mental health and well-being and how to build resilience and developing that. So yeah, I started my company, my first company, Love Rara, I started it 8 years ago. But I think a lot of people don't realize when I started my company, I literally had nothing. I had £50 in my pocket. I bought insurance. I bought my little face painting kit, and then it kind of evolved and grew from there.
That's amazing. Would you feel comfortable sharing a bit of your history around the struggles that you may have had to get to where you are today?
Yeah, and I think for me personally, I still am having those struggles. A lot of the time, being a creative entrepreneur, a lot of people don't really understand the concept, and being creative myself, I'm very good at explaining things over Zoom or one-to-one, but putting documents together and putting in applications or funding or making sure that you have all your risk assessments, insurances, everything up to date. It is a lot of work that kind of puts myself out of my comfort zone. So a lot of time people don't realize that you see the princess or the fairy or the superhero, and that's the magical experience. And that's like, oh, I want to do that. But there is actually a lot of training behind the scenes. We do a lot of documents that we need to put in place before we even go out and do parties, and even the booking system, all the admin behind the scenes, the marketing. There's a lot that goes into running me, but I wouldn't have it any other way because it's quite flexible around my home.
I think that's really good advice, actually, because I think people think that entrepreneur is, and I think we talked a little bit about it before, is being a buzzword, but actually it's hard work. There's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the magic that people see. We call it front of house, I guess. So you obviously have people that dress up as princesses and give people a really great, lovely experience, but behind that, there's a lot of hard work. What is one of the best things about what you do?
So for me, it's being able to see the staff members and the children grow and develop whilst they're within our companies, especially with our kids, our coaching programs. Quite often people will come to us and they've not got a lot of confidence. They may be a little bit shy, but I can kind of help them achieve what they want to achieve in their life and create that kind of inspiring young individual. So also, I feel like it's such an amazing company because it teaches children so much. So social skills and resilience and confidence. It's all about community spirit and stuff. And it shows like we're a team. So we always, all our kind of events and stuff that we do is always really based on community and team feel. And I feel this is a really strong point for myself, particularly. I moved over to Scotland when I was 19, so I don't actually have any family over in Scotland. And also at the age of 16, a lot of people don't realize I was actually homeless at the age of 16. So I'm very big on feeling a part of something and being a part of the community, and that's definitely what we try and create with our businesses.
And you know, we've spoken before, and you know, I'm very proud of where you are and what you've achieved. What do you think one of the most difficult things about what you do is?
So cash flow is a major thing. So for instance, obviously with this pandemic, bookings and stuff aren't as straightforward or easy as they used to. So continuously adapting and keeping that cash flow and ensuring you have correct budgets in place is a huge thing that you need to have. Also marketing, the way you market yourself is very important. So they're definitely one of the hurdles that is always ongoing and you always kind of have to adapt with.
What if a young person's watching this and they're feeling a little bit, it's a pandemic, we're not sure what we're going to do, what advice would you give them, or what advice would you give yourself if you were 11?
Yeah, and so I feel really strongly about this because my mum actually told me not to set up my companies. She said that it was a bit of a joke and no one would take me seriously. And even at a young age, I quite often got told, like, oh, you have to grow up, you can't be a fairy or a mermaid anymore. And I would just say, like, if you have a vision and a dream, you can achieve it. You can do anything you put your mind to. People are always inventing stuff all the time. No one ever thought we were going to have a phone where we can speak to one another face to face. No one dreamed of this, and whoever thought of this idea, I bet you along the way they got told it was a silly idea as well. So I would always say, like, there's never a silly idea, and always just, if you feel like you can do this, you push yourself so that you can achieve it. You can achieve anything you want to achieve.
I think that's great advice. I think there's something in there around it. You didn't get where you were overnight. You had to work very hard, and some of that was about learning from your failures. But that's not a negative. I guess that you learn from what didn't work, and then you change it slightly and you move forward, but you've got to keep on trying. Like you didn't wake up one day and all of a sudden you had 3 businesses or 2 business, you know, and a kind of non-profit. You had a vision, had an idea, and you worked and learned from things that didn't work and changed them and adapted them. So do you think that's a really important message for young people to hear, is that even though things might not work straight off or the first time, they have to go back and retry and adapt and move forward?
Yeah, I always think that everything that you do in life is not a failure. It's a process. So we all have these processes to either grow with it, or we can feel like as if we're stuck and we're in a failure position, but it's not a failure. Everyone has these processes. We all learn from these processes. I would say, for me personally, I absolutely love YouTube. I have learned so much from YouTube. Google is my best friend. I everything. And then also along the way, I've grown and developed as a person. So therefore, my company and my brand has grown and developed as a person. So quite often I love training. So for instance, I've just completed my yoga children's training. I think it's always good to, if you want to change direction, that's absolutely fine. Like, you know, you can do really whatever you can. And that's the thing. I was at school, obviously for me, I much prefer as a hands-on learner. So I really liked TAFE. We call it in Australia. So it's more like apprenticeship work. So therefore you're learning as a trade as you're going. That's definitely what I prefer, and that's my style of learning. And I think it's just recognizing that every single person's style of learning is completely different as well. So for me, YouTube and Google and hands-on learning is the best, but others might want to go to college and university and, you know, develop that through a different program. So I think the resources are there, and I am still learning. Everyone will continue to learn for the rest of their life. And that's what is really important, is as individuals, we learn every single day. So yeah.
I think you've made a really good point. We're all lifelong learners, and I think it's really important that we see that and we feel that. And I'm older than you, and I still learn, and I learn from you, and I've learned from people I've spoken to. I learned, like yourself, I learned from the kids that I work with. So lifelong learning, I think, is something we should all be very proud of and achieve. If you could give, I asked this yesterday, so please bear with me, but if I could give you a magic wand today, what would you change?
I don't know. That is such a hard one. In myself, or in
anything you want? It's a magic wand, so you could change anything.
I feel like I would want people to be able to like access learning a lot easier.
Yeah. And
me, I personally would change my I would love to have like a better memory bank. So that would be like my magic thing. So brilliant. I feel like a very magical world with my companies. So it's not like I would love to be a mermaid because I am a mermaid.
You are a mermaid.
Yeah, I feel like that would be quite good magic wand thing. So more accessibility to learning and also a better memory. That would be great for me.
That's brilliant. Listen, again, I want to thank you for your time. You're an inspiration. It's an absolute delight to always speak to you. So yeah, thank you for your time, and we'll see each other soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks.